My friends, there was a special holiday that just passed. What was it? Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So I thought it would be fun if we read a biography about him so we can learn some different things that he accomplished throughout his life. So we have a story map right over here. Everyone say story map and do this with me. Story map. And a story map lets us know as readers what are the different things that we should be looking for as we read a text. So this is going to be a read aloud that I do. So as I read, your job is to listen. This is a listening activity. And as you listen to our narrative, you're going to think about who are the characters in what we read. Everyone say characters and do this with me. Characters. That means who is in the story. You also want to think about where is the setting. Everyone say setting and do this with me. Setting. There's also a few other literature skills here. This one says challenges for character. Everyone say challenges for character with me. Challenges for characters. That means what were some obstacles that some of the characters went through. And there are a few other skills on our story map, but these are the ones I want you to listen for today. All right, so this is called Martin Luther King Jr. I Have a Dream. And this is adapted text from thinkquest.org by Adam Fee. So I want to make sure I cite my source when I read. Hello, my name is Martin Luther King Jr. I was born on January 15th, 1929. My mother was a teacher, and she taught me to read before I was going to school. She explained prejudice and how the Jim Crow laws that separated whites and blacks. We also examined the Civil War and learned how it ended slavery, but not the hatred and prejudice against blacks. From a young age, I told my mother, I have a dream that all of the world's people will live like brothers and sisters in peace and justice and equality. I was happy to finally graduate from Booker T. Washington High School, a locally segregated school. I was 15 years old when I graduated, but I found it too easy and uninspiring. I was excited when I was accepted to attend Morehouse College in Atlanta, where my father was from. I had many ideas for my future career, but my final decision was that I wanted to become a minister. In February 1952, I met Coretta Scott. She was very intelligent and was studying at the New England Conservatory of Music. We went to movies, dances, and operas together. We married in June of 1953. Like me, she believed that everyone deserves to be treated equally with dignity. The next year in Montgomery, a woman named Rosa Parks was sitting in a section on a bus just behind a sign stating whites only. Blacks and whites were entering the bus, and the driver asked Rosa to move, but she refused. The driver called the police and had her arrested. We organized a bus boycott of the Montgomery buses. Our idea was to engage in a peaceful protest by not riding the bus every day until we were treated equally. At 6 o'clock on Monday morning, my wife called, "Come quick!" We watched one bus after another go by our house empty. The boycott was succeeding. Blacks refused to ride the buses. We had to be persistent. In fact, it took 382 days until we were finally able to create a change. I was arrested with many others for my involvement with the boycott. My home was bombed and I was attacked with physical and verbal abuse. I diligently participated in many historical marches. In the 11-year period between 1957 and 1968, I traveled over 6 million miles, spoke over 2,500 times, and wrote 5 books. I was determined to help end injustice, segregation, and discrimination. The largest march was in Washington, D.C., where 20,000 blacks and whites marched along with me. I was standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and there I gave my famous speech, I have a dream. That day I claimed, I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as brothers and sisters. I have a dream today. In 1963, I was chosen as Man of the Year by Time magazine for my leadership, honesty, and persistence. In 1964, I received the Nobel Peace Prize for showing wisdom and nonviolent protest to mankind. I was 35 years old and the youngest person ever to receive such an honor. Along with it came a great sum of money, which I gave to charity to help blacks become more equal with whites. This is the last part. I was moving with my family up north to Chicago, where I was planning a march for poor blacks, whites, American Indians, Mexicans, and Puerto Ricans. The day before the march, I was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. My killer, James Earl Gray, was a man who supported George Wallace's idea, segregation now, segregation now, segregation forever. My dream was to end injustice, prejudice, and segregation, to bring peace between all races, colors, and creeds. I had a dream. Now tell me, what is your dream? So when I say the signal word, I want you to turn and talk to your neighbor about what was your favorite part of what we learned about Martin Luther King today. Were there any new facts that you learned? And our signal word is human rights. Say and do it with me, human rights. Yeah. Awesome, thank you so much. Does someone want to share what was their favorite part of what we learned in our narrative input chart today? Yes, teach me your name. Jaden, what did you like about our story? What was your favorite fact? The Nobel Peace Prize, that was pretty cool, right? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so when he did make a lot of money, what did he do with it? Yeah, and who did he give it away to? Yeah, and to the people who he felt like didn't have as much money to be equal with everyone else in the society. Yes. Yeah, that was pretty awesome, right? So my friends, I really loved hearing your conversations that you had in our 10-2 discussion. And I think you guys have some really amazing ideas and you're making great connections. We're gonna do something called a learning log. Say it with me, learning log. And in our learning log, we are going to write and take notes on what we learned about in our narrative input chart. So maybe you have prior knowledge that you know about Martin Luther King Jr., or maybe there were some new facts that we learned. So when you take your notes, you can decide to take notes however you would like. So it's a blank sheet of paper. You can put it horizontally, you can have it vertically. I'm gonna make mine horizontal. And you can add sketches of the different pictures, the visuals that we had. So I'm gonna do a quick sketch. Martin Luther King, he's wearing a nice tie. And is this a perfect sketch? Wow, thanks, guys. I'm just kidding. It doesn't have to be perfect because the sketches are here to help our brain to remember. So when you do a sketch, do you have to spend a long time on it? No, it's just a 3 to 5 second sketch to help your brain to remember information. So you can add sketches, maybe you even want to do some of the shapes, the shape coding that you saw on our narrative input chart with the different pictures. Or you can record in a list format. So maybe I remembered in the beginning that Martin Luther King Jr. was born. I don't remember the exact dates, but I'm just gonna put 1900s. Born. And what else do I remember? I remember he got married. And I'll add a quick sketch of a ring. Here's a little baby to help me remember. And oh, I really love the part where he was giving his speech. Maybe you even remember the name of the speech and you can add that to your notes. You can also write in complete sentences. So you can say Martin Luther King Jr. and you can write down in complete sentences some of the information that we learned from our chart today. So when I say the signal word, you will have a few minutes to go back to your seats and to do your own learning log. If you'd like to sit over here, you may. If you want to be close to the chart, you can do that, especially if you want to do some sketches. But if not, you can just stay at your table. And I'll be passing out pieces of paper for you to take your notes. And our signal word is human rights. Say it with me. Human rights. Nice job.